Doctors are expected to overachieve. If you are a doctor, when you were in school, you probably studied a bit harder, put in a bit more effort than your friends. Probably you were a bit of a nerd, and you eventually made it to medical school, where it was the same story. Your other friends that were in uni but not in medical school, they partied a bit harder than you did, and you eventually finished your medical school after long and painful years, and you became a doctor. And most newly graduates, they start by working a 9 to 5. But you were thrown into a hospital to work night shifts and long shifts over the weekends. I know some interns in foundation doctors that start their work in a night shift. So you were always expected to work a bit harder. You got into a residency program, and then you had to take your exams alongside working full time. Now, this is a situation that I recently found myself in. If you've been following my channel, which I hope you are, if you're not, subscribe below, please. You know that I recently took my MRCP exams. Now, that's MRCP Part 1, Part 2, and PACES, which are required of all internal medicine trainees here in the UK to finish before finishing their internal medicine training. And I did that whilst working full time as a trainee in the NHS. And the purpose I made this video is not to say that doctors are better than everyone else. It doesn't even specify to doctors any other profession that requires you to work and study at the same time can be very difficult. If you're studying for a master's degree or a PhD, or you're a doctor doing your postgraduate exams alongside working full time, it could take a toll on your physical health or in your mental health. And I was working and studying at the same time for around over a year. That meant doing 8 to 10 hours of work a day, and then maybe 2 to 3 hours of studying alongside it. So I've made a list of what worked for me and what helped me, and we'll go through it. And if you're in the same situation, it might help you too. So let's start. Now, tip number 1, which I think is the most important, is be passionate about what you're doing. If you're doing a master's degree or a PhD, do it in something that you're passionate about. Research that you're very invested in, or something you really want to know more about. Don't do it just for the credentials, just to add that PhD title to your name. If you're doing a postgrad qualification as a doctor, do it in a field that you're very interested in. And that kept me going. When I was doing my MRCP, it really kept me going. Now, tip number 2 is believe that you can do it. Now, this is very important. I found that a lot of people that take the MRCP exams find the last step, the PACES exam, which is the practical exam, the hardest. And I know brilliant doctors who failed this exam multiple times, and most of it comes down to how you perform on that day. And a big part of it is how confident you feel in your answers and how confident you present, how well you present yourself. Now, I know that a lot of overachievers want to prove something to someone, to your mentor, to your father, to your mother, to whoever it is that you want to prove to that you can do it. Prove to yourself first. Believe in yourself that you can do it. You got into medical school, you finished medical school, you started work as a doctor, you got into residency, you've done all of that before, and you can do this too. Put that in your head. You can do it. I think it makes a world of difference. All right, now tip number 3 is set daily goals. Don't put time slots. All right, so when I was preparing for my MRCP Part 1 and Part 2, where it's mostly question bank based, I put a target of doing 100 questions a day. Now, I didn't put a time limit on that. Whenever I would finish my 100 questions, I would stop. Now, if that was a good day and I was not rushing through it, but being efficient, then I might have finished it in an hour and a half. Or if it was a slow day, it would have taken me 3 hours, and that's what it was. I had that target. I needed to get through 100 questions a day. I found that very useful personally. Set a target of what you need to do in a day. Split whatever you have into little chunks, and then put a daily target that I'm going to do this many questions, I'm going to read these many pages, I'm going to write these many words in a day, instead of putting specified time slots. And my fourth tip is try and make your studying a part of your day. Like, try to study whenever you can. For example, if you're taking a public transport, if you're waiting for a train and you're on your phone, do 10 minutes of studying there. If you're waiting for your coffee, do 5 minutes of studying. I was doing question banks for part 1 and part 2. So question bank was on my phone whenever I had some free time. If I was at work and I had some free time, I would do a bit of studying. If I was on the train, if I was waiting for my coffee. So whatever time you get, try to reach that daily target. And that's what I like about the target. It's because you don't have that time slot. You have a target, and you try to fit in whatever time you have throughout the day to reach that target, so that when you come home, you don't have to sit down and do 2 hours of studying. All right. And lastly, seek support. Right, those around you, your parents, your friends, your spouse, right, or your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whoever you live with. It's okay. You are under a lot of stress, so you're under a lot of pressure. So express your frustration. Express your that you're tired. It's okay. A lot of people just go through it and say, "No, I need to do this." Yes, you need to do it. Yes, it's a lot of work. So it's okay to open up and say, "Listen, you know what? I'm feeling really tired today." Don't feel like you have to hold every commitment when you're doing this. You're doing a lot. You're working full time and you're studying alongside it. So if you can't make if you can't go out on a weekend because you have to catch up on some studying, don't feel bad about it. Don't beat yourself up. Tell your wife or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or anyone living with you. Say, "Listen, I'm sorry. This next 3 months, I might be a bit, to myself, working on these things." But don't try and isolate yourself either. I think this is very important. Still try and go out as much as you can, and I think this makes a difference. If you set a target and try to reach most of that target during your day, during your working hours, during when you're waiting for stuff. Before bed, you could do like a half an hour of studying, and then you don't need to skip those outings on the weekends, and then that's very important for your health as well. So that's it. That's how I survived working full time and studying with it. If you had any suggestions or any questions, please comment below. And if you like the video, please like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.